What's up, Porsche gents? It's been 5 months. When did I move into this house? August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Has it been 8 months since my last GT3 improvement video? So I bought the Golf Blue RS and I started a series of just kind of, working on some things, polishing the paint, swapping the wheels and tires. I don't know what else I did, coat it. And now I'm gonna do all the things that I've been planning on doing for the last 6 or 7 months. I didn't plan on moving. So now my garage is all set up, well, largely set up. I made a screw up. I gotta swap these. I added 2 more rows of lights. I really wanted 5 rows of lights in here. I only had 3. And so I grabbed what I thought were the 4K fixtures, but they're actually 5K fixtures. So anyway, I'll fix that. I'm sorry, I thought I grabbed the 5K fixtures and they're 4K fixtures, so you probably won't be able to tell in the video, but I can tell in person. It's bothering me. Actually, let me turn the middle row on. I like it because now I run them at like 30% dim, whereas when I only had 3 rows, when I was videoing, I had to run it at 100%, and it's just too bright for my liking, so too harsh. Okay, so I'm not sure how this video is going to shape up, but I got to take the rear bumper cover off. I want to deal with the air filters, check those out. There should be BMC filters stock on the RS, but I have a set of BMC filters. I want to do the spark plugs. I want to change the oil. I want to change the pollen, the cabin air filter. I'm sure that Ryan Friedman, who I bought this from, did some of this stuff, like oil change and things. I noticed there's a slight leak underneath the car on the crush ring, and so I'm going to fix that and clean everything up and figure out whatever I need to do on this to get the car to Matt Mormon spec. I plan on doing that right the day I got the car, but now we're going to work through things. Problem is, in the next week I got 2 Amiras coming, so anyway, we'll deal with that later. So I was going to start this last weekend, but I forgot the car has a GMG center section. Hit me up if you want to buy that. Let's say $1,500. I'll ship it to you. And so I needed to buy these guys. So I got everything all set up the camera, started making the video, got the car in position. This was prior to the track day, so this was 2 weeks ago. And I don't have this. And you know what hacks me off? I had 2 pairs of these just sitting in my box. And when I cleaned out my air-conditioned storage unit and brought everything to HQ, I was like, I'm never gonna need these. So I just kind of cleaned up extra parts and pieces that I had laying around from all these exhausts I've done over the years. So anyway, I had to buy those, freaking $195 a piece. Let me back you up here so I can show you all this stuff. Okay, so Dundon exhaust. This was exhaust iteration number 15 over the years. If you've been around a long time, you saw me when I got my original 991.1, my sapphire blue GT3, the .1 GT3, so 2014 regular GT3. The only thing that was available was a Sharkworks and GMG bypass, which was just a carryover from the 997. And I just didn't buy that was our best option. Well, it kind of isn't a terrible option, but I worked with FED Brombacher and I bought all the different center bypasses, Chris Smith's Racing. I had just 15 different iterations where I was trying valves, no valves, side mufflers, no side mufflers, disconnected valves, different center sections. I had a catless Dundon exhaust on that car, and then eventually ended up switching to the white RS, the .1 RS that I had, and settled on the Dundon catless. The problem with catless is that it turns everything yellow. Dundon really doesn't even do any catless anymore now that they've kind of worked on and gotten their amazing catted system, which really doesn't make a whole heck of a lot less horsepower. So anyway, the system, the way this works, you have, I believe they call this a equal length header. And so why this matters, why I think Dundon is the way to go. Now, many have followed, let's be charitable here and say many exhaust companies have followed their lead. They freaking copied. But let's see, Charles Dundon has explained this to me many times, same with Jamie. So Jamie and Charles are partners, they own Dundon Motorsports. But the exhaust is, First of all, it's made of 321 stainless, which is much more robust for cracking and heat cycling and stuff like that. It's not as pretty, but we're in here for pure performance. So I think this does look good, but it's a very functional system is the main purpose. So you have a exhaust system that is tuned, I believe, harmonically. They're flipping out right now as I'm explaining this. It's tuned harmonically to scavenge or essentially speed up the velocity of the exhaust coming out of the block, coming out of the exhaust valve section of the piston chamber. And it's essentially helping air speed up and then exit the vehicle, which in turn gives us more horsepower. So there's also less restriction because we have bigger piping, 3-inch piping. So you have bigger piping, you have scavenging, and then harmonic tuning or sound tuning, which I believe those things are what creates more horsepower. And then they just test and tune. They bought because of where they're at, they had to buy a soundproofed dyno enclosure. So basically a room inside of a room in order to do this. And their lab rat vehicles had done hundreds, if not in the 1,000, dyno runs over and over, go weld another pipe on, test, tune. And so we end up with the result of that. So the reason why I am so in love with this system, one, because I want to honor the source of the information. They're the ones who really pushed all other exhaust manufacturers to another level, and I have great relationships with many of the other exhaust manufacturers, Soul, AWE, lots of great companies out there making stuff. But these guys put in the work. They put in the time. They had the expertise. They did the testing. They did the tuning, and they came up with a great result. So header comes out, and we're going to do this all together over the course of the next, well, if I keep talking, 25 episodes. And then the header connects to the 200 CEL cat section. And so the cat kind of twists up and goes where the side muffler was. But we're going to remove, say, 40 pounds, 30 pounds off the back end of the car. We're also going to remove some of that heat that's right by the back tires by doing a shorter, tighter, curved section for our cats. So no check engine lights, which is nice. And then this was something that I just hated. I hate valves on cars. And the GT3 is a car that if you disconnect the valves on, I've pretty much found anything with the exception of the Sharkworks center bypass, the disconnected valves just make it boomy, drony, obnoxious. Just doesn't work on this car. But when you go to this larger 3-inch piping, the valve becomes much less intrusive, I find. The thing to keep in mind on a GT3 or GT3 RS is that when you push the button, you push the exhaust button, when you're stationary, the valve's open. But whether the button's closed or not, as soon as you drive off, the valves close again, and then they open it, depending on your throttle, say somewhere around 3,700 RPMs. So let's just round up to 4,000 RPMs. And so then the exhausts open, you shift gears, they're closed, they open, they close, they open. But because of the larger piping, larger diameter piping, and then having the center section, I find that it's not as dramatic. It's a much smoother transition. I freaking hate valves. But this, you see people who don't know jack about Porsches or don't own them, or if they do own them, they don't know what's going on. A couple of things that don't do anything on this car. You press the exhaust button. The only thing it does differently is that it opens the valves at idle. Otherwise, the car operates the same. PDK Sport doesn't change when you're in manual mode, doesn't change the speed of shifts. It's only in automatic mode. So those are two things to just take note for you GT3 wannabes, because then you'll sound a little bit smarter. And you can see that's a pretty robust, pretty straight through design. It's you know, it's a pretty robust valve here because there's quite a few horsepower coming right through this exhaust, right off the back of the engine, which is right on the back side of the car. So this connects to the cat, and then from here we connect to the center section. Now, I don't know if you signed up for a full exhaust education here, but I don't care. This is how I make videos. If you're new here, well, thanks for being here. Love that you're here. But this is the center section. This is the stainless steel center section from Dundon. And I think, sorry, Charles, Jamie, this thing is freaking hideous. It's the ugliest center section that is made, but I think it needs to be. I guess it probably doesn't need to be that way, but it already costs a lot. It would certainly cost quite a bit more if it was a whole lot prettier. But it's designed to not explode, you know, the factory one, because they're track guys. And so if you're really heat cycling, really getting the car up to temp, doing lap after lap after lap, you're gonna blow up the factory center section. And so they've made the stainless steel. I had put the titanium one, which is like $9,000, on my 992 GT3 Touring. I just like the stainless steel sound better. Stainless steel to me has a different resonant frequency. It sounds deeper, thicker, more substantial. The lightness of the titanium is always cool. I always get suckered into it, and then I always end up ripping the titanium exhaust off and going back to stainless. My E92 M3, you know, I got one down that titanium path multiple times with that Krapovich exhaust, which I think is the worst exhaust for this car, but you know, people tend to like it. I think just because it costs a lot and it looks really, really pretty. But my E92 has the American Racing headers center section, catless center section, resonated with mufflers, and it sounds freaking incredible. Best exhaust on the planet for that car, no question. Okay, so then you've got all the fittings and connections and stuff like that. I'll show you how this all goes together, and then the Dundon tips, so the black gloss slash tips will go on the car as well. And so we're going to do this all this stuff together. Cool. I do have plugs. I'm pretty sure I've got a oil filter, and then I bought the 911R diffuser. So I got this guy to put on. I think this was $800 or $900. And so it has little fins on the bottom. It's black instead of metal. We will, I think, have to trim this a little bit, so that's gonna kind of stink. But maybe I'll have Mike trim it for me so it looks pretty. I think I could probably pull it off. So we'll do this together as well. All right, stop talking and start doing. This is gonna be a 19-hour video. Let me just give you a little closer look at all the exhaust components, all the things that we need to put this together. So when you buy the Dundon exhaust setup, I want to say this whole thing is like, what is it, 11,000 bucks or something like that. And so you wouldn't need to buy these guys because they should be on your car if you have a stock exhaust. So you have your AccuSeal clamps, you have your gaskets. We have our gaskets that go on the inlet to the center section. There's your tips, and then there's our other header and other pieces. Again, all in 321 stainless, which is gonna sound freaking amazing. I wanna say, this is I don't know how many Dundon exhausts I've had now. Let's see, how many GT3s have I had? Sapphire blue, white, 1, 2, 3. 4 for the Touring, 5 for the Golf. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is jack this sucker up using my fancy Pit Boss jack. I do wanna test out, ow, oh man, that hurt. I do wanna test out something. My other Pit Boss had a leak. Let me show you what we're working with here. Show you all the different jacks I got going on here. So I forget how I discovered these. I think it was a follower who turned me on to these guys, Pit Boss. And so we sell these here on a crap a brick, but if you're a GT3 guy, you can afford it. And I think it's worth every penny. But this is the low boy, the really, really low one. And then this is the more robust version, which had a little bit of a drip. So I got it on a mat here to figure out what's what. But these are all aluminum, so they're I guess they're cut out of a block of aluminum, and then they're anodized. And then we put the little OG logo on the side, little hex on the side, which is sick. The other jack that I have, so actually you can see the difference here between the two. Sideways. I don't know if this one fits under the GT3, so that's what I'm going to see here. And one of my employees messed this one up on something big, and I'm not sure. So mine's a little bit racked. I got to send it in to the Pit Boss guys to get serviced. This should sit flush and flat, but it still works okay. But something got kind of twisted on it, and I'm not sure how. But you can see the height difference, even with this thing being, so again, this would sit all the way down inside of here and be basically flush. But neither one of them damaged the Swiss tracks on a car, it's 3,200 pounds, so it should be fine. And then the other jack that you may want to consider if you have trucks and stuff, we're going to bring this into the store. So this is the 4,400 pound AC hydraulic, and then I have a pad extension on here for my Bronco. I'm going to take it off. I don't know. It looks like it'll fit under here, so we might try it on this car as well. Let me just see. So, I mean, if you're going to get one jack, because these will not lift the Bronco. They'll lift up a corner of the Raptor, but it's, they're a little bit daintier. This sucker is stout. So let me see if it fits. It probably going to fit. I have these Delrin jack pads that I've had for a number of years. I'm probably going to make these and provide these as a solution. These are made out of Delrin, one of the handiest tools I've ever had. You can find some versions, but nothing as nice as these. Smokin' GTS made these on the forum, on Renless forum. So if he's watching this, thanks for always helping us make these things. He also makes the wheel guides. But I've always approached him years ago about making them for him. He's like, man, I'm retired. I don't want to mess with that. So let's see if this would fit without it. Oh yeah, look at that. No problem. Even on a lowered car. So if I could only have one jack and do all my cars and do my trucks, this thing's pretty sick. But if I put this jack pad on, I don't know if this big boy will fit. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice. So we are an AC hydraulic dealer, and I'll make sure you get the right one. So if you want this guy, I can get it for you. Look at that. Boom. I'm going to throw a block underneath the front here. Shit, sorry, I realize you can't really see what I'm doing here. And turn this way. I just have a piece of 2x4 out here. I used to have wheel chocks. I'd gotten rid of a bunch of the things that I used to use when I had to work in the garage like I'm having to work now because I don't have a lift in my life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rear end of this up on 10-inch race ramps. And what I want to do is pull the e-brake here. Try not to launch this thing into the garage door. But before I put it on there, I'm going to get the side screws done. Wow, this sucker. This is a great user experience with this jack. Because this thing is stout, I don't even have to worry about. I'm not as worried about messing with jack stands and stuff. So I don't have jack stands for this car. I don't have jack stands at all. So to do all the stuff I've lived to do. I always feel more safe just putting the tire on there. But before I set this on there, I want to get these, I think it's 3 screws if I remember correctly. On the rear bumper, yeah, there's one there. 1, 2, 3. I think it's only 3. It's been a long time for me. Okay. Shoot, last time I did this on the ground like this in the garage, I think I had Verilux bulbs in my garage. So check out all this fancy I've got going on here. You guys are gonna be, you Porsche gents are gonna be envious. So we're launching this, I think, in the next week. I don't know how many of you are gonna buy the Master Collection, but we've come up with various versions of this for all of you that might be interested in the most amazing tool set ever. But me going through this all has made me like the Sonic foam inlays even more, because this is hundreds of hours to kind of put this together. Hundreds and hundreds of hours. And then this is my little car drawer here. So this one has like the things that I'll use, like jack pads and stuff like that. Lift blocks, things that I might need for my cars. And then, you know, everything in between. I got my grip-on drawer and my Stabila levels. My Iriga drawer with all of my adjustables. Knipex drawer. I'm freaking living the dream here, people. I'll show you more of this stuff. So I'm creating a Master Collection, as well as a more practical essentials kit, and then we can kind of work from there. Let's see what we got here. I think these are T27. I'm gonna do this, let's see here. So if you're gonna do the exhaust, it is easier to take the wheels off, but I wanna set it on the wheels, so I'm not taking them off. Yep, it's T27. That little extension is not gonna fit. Wonder if this bumper's ever been off. The coolest thing about Porsches like this is that I'm telling you, this bumper's gonna come off and it's gonna go right back on. So, I always thought, you know, when I was younger, I thought, man, I've got to have a bunch of money saved up, because when I get a Porsche, I'm going to have to pay someone to work on it. And it's like the easiest car ever. It goes back together better and easier than any other car. It's very simply built, very well thought out. Shoot, my Sapphire Blue one, I had that whole thing taken apart and put back together many times over, it seems. So if you're thinking of getting a Porsche, don't be scared. So that, 1, 2, another one up here. I think there's 4. I think there's 1. Might be wrong. I think maybe I'm wrong. It's gonna be good to pull this PPF off, even though it's a pretty decent job. That's right, this one is a smaller, I think it might be a T20. It's all coming back to me after having taken the bumper off 20 times. So these are Hazette, and this is Koken. It doesn't feel right. It's like it's still too big. So Reminds me of the old days. Not in any rush. Dang. Dang. It's really tight. There we go. It's just kind of a little dirt caked on there. There we go. Is that a different size? I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. It's not a T15, it's a T20, or not T20, it's a T25. Just leave those guys right there, so then this. I don't think there's another one. So that will pop loose. One there. Get to that in a minute. Okay, so let's get this side up on the block. It's pretty comfy in here though, I tell you what. It's pretty tall. I don't know how much I like this height here. A little bit more. Nice and centered here. There looks pretty good. So let's bring it down. I think I'd like to bring it in a little bit more. Yeah, this jack is really nice. More. Right there. I like this jack. Holy crap, it's good. Okay. I guess just for your purposes, let's use the Pit Boss on the other side. Yeah. All right. We're sitting on the E-brake, so we're all right. Get those two off. I got it up in the air. I'm gonna say that these suckers are the hardest to get off. It's the nice thing about Swiss tracks. As long as it's not a really tiny bolt, I never lose anything. Just these right here. My left tire. The next track day, because we have the track to ourselves, we're gonna turn around and go the other way because this tire is is hardly worn in comparison to the other one. So if you're doing this on the lift, this is like a 2-hour job. Doing this here, it's gonna be a lot longer. But I'm enjoying my time. Take my time with my GT3. It's just a little bit higher than I want it to be. It'll make it easier to do the oh shoot. I gotta let it down. It's about to slip. It's not moving right. I do have to fix that. Let's see, what do I want to do here? Yeah, I didn't put it in far enough. We're gonna slip off underneath the tire. That'll hold me up here. There we go. And because that thing's not, because it's bent, it's messing me up. Just like that, right there. Okay. Boom. And we'll just leave the jack sit right there, because it's not gonna hurt anything. Cool. Here's what the front end looks like, just chilling. All right, so we're touching the front end, but it's touching Swiss tracks. It's not doing anything. All right, so now we got to take the tail lights off. And all these uppers. Now, I could use power tools, but you know, I'd rather just err on the side of caution. Take some extra care. I tried to convince Ryan to come out here and help me do this. That way he would start to learn how to use tools, but he's out running around on his Sur-Ron, so he's not interested. Remember when you guys have been around a long time, remember baby Kate would crawl out there in the garage? Because I would open the door to the house so it would cool off. And the Lady Lake house, an old pond house we'll call it. So those are T27s, this is T25. So theoretically, I got this thing up in the air. I'm just gonna do all the things that I planned on doing. Once the Amiras get here. You know, this is a car, I don't wanna say it, but this is the lifetime car. So, I'm not in any rush. So now we take this light off. Pop it, pull it toward you. Take the Molex connector off, which always sucks. There we go. So there's the light. Man, this car looks so good on camera. It looks this good in person too. Needed to put this little guy on here so I can do my little finger removal once I get the doesn't feel factory tight. That feels like somebody tightened it too much. Like way too much. So again, we'll have all this Koken has that, all this stuff in the store. You can always shoot me an email if you need some help. I can price it out for you. But I mean, if you're on the fence, you don't have infinite funds, Sonic foam inlays, man, are so good. So stinking good. I don't know how the heck they managed to gouge my bumper. I had to have the rear bumper repainted on my Sapphire because the dealership was taking the lights off and they freaking gouged the paint somehow. Man, look at how cool that garage looks. M3 sitting there. I almost sold the M3 to EAG. You catch me in the wrong. I was going to list it for $175. So if you catch me in the right moment, you wanted my M3. 175 G's is what buys it. Shoot me a message. Just might sell it to you. I'm gonna keep it. See, it feels nice putting it up on the ramps rather than on sitting on jacks or. If I was going to be in here permanently doing this, I would get the new Spalm Sprinter, and I'd probably actually cut it into the floor. But because down the street we're going to be putting the design studio, I'm going to have 2 lifts in there, so this is my normie life. Although I don't even know if you can call it normie. I'm working on a rather rare $260,000 RS, putting my really expensive exhaust on it. Bumper cover should be ready to come off. I like this to just keep my screws right here. Right in the Swiss tracks. Oh wait, I gotta take the ones off up here. I guess they would have had to taken the lights off to do the PPF because it's edge wrapped here. So that's why it's so tight. Darn detailers taking stuff apart, not doing it right. This is way too, all this stuff is on way too tight. This one is not, but the others, like these, the tail lights, definitely were. Looking pretty clean in here though. I bet you this car's never seen rain. It's probably only seen rain with me. I don't know that I put it in the rain either. You know, well, I don't know, this was a Miami car, and then was a Southern California car, and then came back here. Okay, so now pop this. Why do I feel like there's another? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew it. There's another one right here underneath this flap. Shoot. I knew it. I knew there was 4 there. This jack is just so darn confidence inspiring, being as it's much bigger than what I need for this car. Create as much space as I can get. That's right. Now I remember. You have to pull this upper piece out of the way. I think it's a T27. I'm not sure though. Yep. And this is not a small one. This is a big one. This is a T27, not the 25. All right. Now we should be disconnected. There we go. Told you it's been a while. So now I'll have the license plate light thing I gotta take off. So I'm gonna pop this loose. There we go. These two guys out of here. See, one man job, piece of cake. All right, so I'm obviously gonna clean this all up while I'm in here. Let's take all the pieces off and then we'll get to the bumper. So I got one, that's where the 10 mils are right there. A couple of 10 mils. So you take all this heat shielding off. Okay, there's another one in here. Yep. It's all coming back to me, people. Okay, got one right here. Right here. I think that's it for that piece. Anything about that guy? So that's the cool thing about nut grip, is it grabs my nut and holds onto it. I feel like, is there one more? Yep, shoot. There is one more right here. There we go. That's more like it. This all comes together with those three. All right, so I'm gonna take this side off. Back to you in a minute. All right, let's take the bumper off. Just these 6 bolts here. 14, 13, 13. And these are all things you could take off with power tools, but see, an American company wouldn't give you a, got a Corvette, you'd have to get some like 4th hand tool to get into this spot, where the Germans give you access to put the fastener in place. Just smart. Awesome. I'm just now sitting here pondering, like, do I actually like doing this stuff? I don't think I do. I don't know. I like making the video, and so I do the work in order to make the video. And there's a little locating pin on this here. So it shouldn't just fall off. That's super light. There we go. Okay. Good news is the bracket is still on here. I did check that. I'll probably wrap up this video. I'm gonna take the air box off. I wanna see what I'm working with in here. Everybody's always told me, I can't recall. Stock on these cars is the BMC filter on an RS, and it's a Porsche paper filter on a GT3 and the 991s. So I may have a set of BMC filters for sale for you. I didn't buy them. I don't know why. I've had them for years. So there's the GMG center section. Yep, BMCs. And it is crispy clean in here. Oh, nope. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm not even gonna clean these. I'm just gonna put my other ones in. A lot of dirt. Look at all that. Put all that in there. Nice. Oh yeah. So you get all kinds of rocks on this thing here too. So now what I'll do is take a little waterless wash, a little McKee's N914. Dust it out, why not? I'm gonna just gain like 10 horsepower. Kidding. Kidding! Calm down. Don't lose your crap. Look at all that. While we're up here, let's clean all this. Just make me a nice, clean section of car. This make me feel real good. All this is dialed. I know you're feeling good about it, so imagine how good I'm feeling about it. Yeah. All that dust and dirt out of here. Museum spec. Yeah, buddy. This looks freaking great. No dirt allowed on Maddie's GT3. No dirt allowed. Tell me that doesn't make you happy. Sure makes me happy. So we'll hit this spot right here. Clean out the inside first. Should put some drying aid in here, make it slicker. For speed, air speed. So I think, forget what the Porsche procedure is for this. I think it's every 6,000 miles you're supposed to pull the cover off and change the filters or clean the filters or I'm just going to change them. The other thing we're going to do while we're under here, I'm going to do the spark plugs. Those spark plugs are supposed to be done at, I think, 11,000 miles, I think it is. The car has 3,000 miles, but it also is 9 years old. So I got some OE spark plugs. I got some Amsoil 5W50. Doing an oil change. Then change the cabin filter, which is not back here, but we do the exhaust, cabin air filter, and then while it's here, I'm hoping I can work on the details. I start working on the interior. I'm going to pull the seats out and really deep treat the leather. Make it really nice. And change out some of the interior parts as well. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish this intake for you tonight. We'll call this episode 1, bumper removal, intake, filter cleanup. And then tomorrow I'll do the exhaust, because I'm going to go for a run, do sauna. It's like 7 o'clock now. I grabbed my BMCs, so these freshies. Oh yeah, we're going to be gaining some horsepower. Uh-oh. These are not the same ones, buddy. Nope. Nopey. Shoot. I've been hanging on to these for all these years. 709/20. BMC. Not the same ones. Welpy. Yep. Oh, I'm gonna go wash these then. I'll be right back. All right, looks pretty good. Looks pretty clean. I wish that I bought some new ones, but I just washed them with a little bit of APC. I don't have any oil. I don't know that you're supposed to re-oil these anyway. And I wish I'd bought new ones, but we'll be good. So these must be 992. These new ones that I've been lugging around for 3 years. They're just slightly rounded. But man, that was choking me quite a bit there, I think. No, these are not 100% dry, but car's not gonna get started for days, at least a day. So I can put this back together. There's a whole lot of dirt in there, that's for sure. Dang it. Apparently somebody blew into my eyes. So I went outside, dumped probably a half a cup of rocks into the grass. And I went onto the street and kind of pounded out another quarter cup of dirt. And then washed out a boatload more. So that was overdue. Probably gained 5 horsepower cleaning out the filters, and then another 25 horsepower from the exhaust. I'm gonna feel a real kick in the butt. The dust is gone, filters are clean, rolling. All right, that's a wrap on this episode. I'm gonna go for a run, jump in the sauna. I'm probably gonna run a couple miles, maybe 2.5 miles ruck. 2.5 miles with a 45. I actually might put a 60 pounds in my pack and do that, hit the sauna, go for a drive in the Bronco, and live to fight another day. Work on this tomorrow after the gym. So I gotta make sure I'm prioritizing health. I'm back down to about 225 and on my pursuit to 200 pounds. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next exhaust section. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. This car is awesome. See you soon.